one of the most powerful parts of consciousness is the afterlife. What happens when we die? Of course, there have been answers for thousands of years from religions and from sages, but in recent years, science itself is starting to find that this question is intruding on our experiments. Phenomena have been turning up that are reminding us how important consciousness is. There are things we can measure in the laboratory that remind us over and over again we need to get consciousness into science. In the last 30 years, the Princeton Pear Lab, which does research in consciousness, has been proving that ESP exists with large numbers of experiments, odds against chance that are in the trillions to one, which means overwhelmingly these phenomena occur. They've been able to show that we can affect things at a distance with our minds, our intention. Healers in both America and in China have been proving that they can affect physics experiments thousands of miles away, affect laboratory measurements. So that means that we can't continue to ignore consciousness. The way it connects with the afterlife is, well, first of all, nurses, hospital workers, hospice workers who are present at time of death have reported in many cases an orb leaving the body. And there was old experiments done 100 years ago by Dr. McDougall that found that when people die, he would see a sudden change of weight, a sudden reduction of weight of about 21 grams that he was able to measure fairly consistently, which led him also to believe that our soul, or this energy that combines aspects of our consciousness and our intelligence, actually has some kind of physical properties. To try to understand this, I've been looking at theories as well as experiments over the past 15, 20 years, and the best theory to me is the Russian theory of torsion. It seems to explain a lot of these out-of-body and paranormal phenomena that happen. It can actually explain what an orb is, in my opinion. I think that if you start looking into the subject in terms of science, of what we know about death, there are many different ways we can learn about it. Certainly the near-death experience is one of them. People who are clinically dead but come back, they have experiences of the other side, of relatives that they meet on the other side, of memories, etc., that life goes on, even when they've been dead for days in some cases. I think scientifically, as we start looking at the physics of it, it'll also bring us back to what experiencers talk about, to what near-death experiencers and other people, how they report the other side, and try to bring these two fields of knowledge together. Because, I mean, to me, there's an artificial separation between the science and spirituality. They both describe the universe in different perspectives, but it ought to all fit together. And so far in Western culture, we have many different religions. Each one has its own specific beliefs. But if you step back and look at the basic principles, in all of them, love is important, forgiveness is important, prayer and meditation are important. So to me, as we step back, there's a unification that's possible here of knowledge, and both sides can learn a great deal as we move toward that unification. So that's really what I'm interested in. I think that if you start looking into the subject in terms of science, of what we know about death, there are many different ways we can learn about it. Certainly the near-death experience is one of them. People who are clinically dead but come back, they have experiences of the other side, of relatives that they meet on the other side, of memories, etc., that life goes on, even when they've been dead for days in some cases.